that narco? What? You mean there's a narco?
What?
The one that's in
It's a shopping bag.
Is that narco? What?
This is a really, really hard habit to kick once you have it. I talked to people who were active users, people in recovery, and boy, it just convinced me that we need to focus on prevention. And the fact of the matter is, it's these pills, these prescription pills, that in 80% of the cases lead to people being addicted to heroin. So the work we've done to try to stop doctors from prescribing so many pills, the work we're doing to try to stop drug companies from pushing these pills, that's probably the most effective thing we can do, and that's one of the things that I learned.
The question we're trying to answer here is America winning the new war on drugs? What is your answer to that?
Well, we're losing the war against heroin right now. Last year, 700 people died from overdoses in Connecticut. This year, it might be as high as 900. That's after we deployed Narcan, that wonder drug that can bring somebody in overdose back to life all across the state of Connecticut. We are clearly losing this battle right now, not winning it, and it's because the Republicans in Congress haven't woken up to the fact that this is an epidemic. We need more help here in Connecticut, and I don't know how many more ways I can say it, but we'll continue to lose this fight if we don't convince Republicans to join Democrats, if we don't convince Donald Trump to wake up to this epidemic. We won't win it unless we're working together on it.
Do you think Connecticut on the state level is doing enough to fight these?
I think that Connecticut is a model. I mean, Connecticut has taken this amazing step to limit the number of pills that a doctor can prescribe, and the whole nation is going to be looking to see if that works. So, Connecticut is doing what it can, but it needs help from the federal government.
Can you tell us how you are working with the U.S. Attorney to get these pills, these opiates, and heroin off New York City streets?
Well, most of the cases here at DEA are federally prosecuted in either Southern District or Eastern District in New York, upstate, Northern, and Western districts. So we work hand in hand with the federal prosecutors on most of our cases. But besides the enforcement side, we also do public awareness campaigns, which we've done, and also public appearances, colleges, to talk about the ravages of heroin and opiate addiction.
You talked before about the prosecution of El Chavo Guzman, responsible for, you believe you said 80% of the drugs that are here in America. How much of a dent do you think that will make? And then, now that you have him, do you think that you could get others who, are dealing these drugs?
Yes. Mr. Guzman's arrest is significant because he's the leader of the biggest trafficking and most powerful trafficking organization in the world, Sinaloa Cartel. Does it mean his arrest and prosecution that drugs are going to be stopped coming to the United States? No. What it does, though, is anytime you take out the leader of the organization, it causes disruption, disarray within that organization. So there's going to be a fight for the top amongst people who worked for him, and it will put a dent in things for a while. But I'd be foolish or naive to think that there is going to be somebody to step up and fill the void of Chapo being in jail.
What progress has federal law enforcement made in making a dent in this crisis?
Well, by virtue of what our name is, the Drug Enforcement Administration, it's to go after the highest level traffickers. With the example of Mr. Guzman, who's arguably the most powerful drug trafficker in the world, that is the top of the heap. You don't get any bigger than Chapo Guzman. But our investigations continue. There's indictments on many other members, subordinates of Mr. Guzman and associates in Mexico, and we'll keep on fighting that fight.
And we talked earlier about the heartbreak that these families feel when their loved ones overdose and die. The U.S. Attorney is now prosecuting dealers when it's found that they have dealt heroin that caused somebody's death. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how tough it is to find the dealer, when somebody dies?
Yeah, that's a relatively new program that we've been doing in conjunction with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the state prosecutors are also doing it. And that is to send a message out to the dealers that the individual dealers who may be low-level dealers comparatively to what we usually target, that we're not forgetting about them. So, and it brings some solace and closure to families who've lost people to this crisis.
Right.
But it's like a two-pronged attack. We're going at the top, but we're also going out of our normal comfort zone and going after individual dealers who supply that fatal dosage unit. Is it difficult? Yeah, it's difficult because unfortunately, by the time we get involved, the best witness is dead. So you have to backtrack. You find that many people who are addicted, who are associates maybe with the person who died, are very reluctant to talk to the police. So it's tough, but we have been successful. We've had a number of cases where we went and prosecuted these guys.